Hey guys, it's Luca again with another terrible YouTube video. Tanki Classic is finally released, and it actually feels pretty decent, and that's what we're going to be talking about. The game is clearly in the alpha stage still. Like, the treads don't move on the hull, there's some shadow issues, and the boxes still look a little weird here and there. But other than that, I mean, it looks really solid. Still looking forward to the old textures coming out. Some of the skins look a little goofy right now in the garage, but I mean, that's just cosmetic stuff. I'm not really worried about that. I'm gonna start off with some positives, actually. So right off the bat, the first thing I noticed is that the time to kill is way higher than a Tanki Online, which is really good because it feels like you're actually like picking which fights to take, as opposed to, oh fuck, he shot first, I'm dead, right? That's no longer really an issue in this game. You know, obviously I'll get to supplies imbalance later, but right now it actually feels like, you know, you are taking which fights you want to take. You know, you're weighing your options. You're actually, okay, do I want to push here with firebird, or do I want to sit back with smoky? Like, you can actually choose and play the game as it's meant to be played. You know, especially if you're in a team, you can actually like contribute to the game instead of just, oh shit, there's a guy there, I gotta react quick or I'm dead. Another thing is that overdrives are heavily neutered, like neutered into the floor, and that's a good thing. Clearly they didn't want overdrives to affect Tanki Classic like they did in Tanki Online, where they pretty much just control the game. The one that I've used so far, I've maybe gotten once in a game. And that's a big maybe. It takes a lot to even get it. I think I was in like a Barta 8v8 and I got it one time total, and I had like 50 kills by the end of the game. So I mean, like, I think this is a good thing. I think this is a fantastic thing for Tanki Classic. They knocked it out of the park in that aspect. Obviously, I haven't seen the other overdrives yet, but as it stands, this is a good change for the overdrives. Another thing is that the one that they currently have in the game, it's not like the current Dictator one. It uses the same skin, or I guess texture, as the Dictator one, but it doesn't spread supplies to every single one of your teammates, which I think is a good thing. I really liked the original overdrive, and I know that's what it is, but I don't know. I like it the way it is. And I can't exactly explain why right now. I'll probably try and explain in a future video, but I think it's a good change for that overdrive. I think making yourself really overpowered, you're getting basically, if you are playing full supplies on, you essentially get 3 lives if you have your overdrive, right? Which is enough to change a game, basically. Like, if you have the flag and you need to get 2 kills without getting traded by somebody on the other team, you know, you can fight the first guy, you both use your supplies. You can either use your second repair kit as your overdrive, or your second overdrive as your repair kit in that fight and get away. I mean, it is a game-changing thing, and I think you need to use it wisely. You actually have to think about when you want to use your overdrive now, instead of just mashing shift every time it shows up. So those are the 2 things that I really like about the current test. There are a couple weird things right now. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I don't like the current M0, M1, M2, M3 system. I take that back. I like that system. I don't like how they're rolling out the turrets. The whole, where we're gonna do smoky and firebird and twins, and then we're gonna max them out before you can even get the next round of stuff, I think that's silly. I'm not sure why we're doing that. I don't know if the idea is that the later stuff is going to be more overpowered. In that case, I don't understand why these turrets even exist, to be honest. If I just use these 3 turrets to get to a certain rank, and then I never use them again. I think that's silly. You're never going to see them at higher ranks if that's the case. What's more likely going on here is that everything is balanced at the M3 level. It's going to be really bizarre. You're hardly ever going to see M3 later equipment, right? Because people are just going to be grinding with these initial M3 turrets. And I don't know, it kind of makes the game stale. You know, like I'm sure anybody else that has played knows that you're pretty much playing a smoky firebird, occasionally a railgun if there's a really high rank, occasionally a twins, but really nothing outside of that. And it's really stale because you're just having these fights where one turret really dominates the map. So if it's a short range map, it's like ping pong or island or octagon, then it's a firebird map. If you're playing, I mean, there's some maps that are good, like Serafov is a really good map for, you know, picking and choosing your fights, but there's just certain maps where one turret dominates, and that's just going to be what it's like the entire time you play. I'm not looking forward to that. Anyways, I was thinking about some ways to fix this. So like an example I hear a lot is Thunder versus Smoky. How Smoky is like Thunder 1.0 and Thunder's like the big brother that really takes over. And I know that was the case back in original Tanki with the whole Viking combo, but I think there's some ways that you could fix that. I don't know if you make Smoky's critical more powerful to offset the damage loss. Maybe make Thunder's area damage, which is kind of its niche, I know, but like maybe you shrink that down a bit so that it's not spreading as much to everybody else. I think there's ways you can fix it without just ripping the system apart and basically saying, hey, these are better than these, so we're gonna lock them behind the rank wall. I don't like that. I liked the original game, or I guess it's not original, but I like the 2015, 2014 version where everything pretty much like opened up around Sergeant, a few later, I think, and then you started getting M1s all at the same time, and the stronger M1s were later, and the stronger M2s were later after that, right? So you'd get like these M3 Firebirds playing, but M3 Firebird was worse than M3 Shaft. I don't know. I don't remember the original progression, but that's just how it worked, right? I think Firebird Smoky was always like the little brother, but like they were good. I think I like the system the way it was before. Anyways, moving on. Right now, the ranks heavily affect the gameplay. I know this was like the original complaint with the pre-matchmaking system, that people would just join battles where they're like the highest rank, but it wasn't as big of a deal back then because everybody had pretty much similar equipment. Right now, one rank is the difference between an M2 and an M1. There's no micro upgrades, none of that. And I think that the test would be run a bit better if you maybe took the, I hate to say this, the M1, M2, M3 aspect out of it. If you just really want to test gameplay, give everybody M3s, and my idea would be to give them something to work towards in the real game. When the actual release drops, give them like a paint or like something cosmetic, something that really won't affect gameplay, but like something that's cool to have, like something that makes the game worth testing, you know what I mean? Because obviously people, they're motivated right now by, let's get better equipment and stomp everybody. But right now, the gameplay's really skewed, and if you check any battle, you're gonna see a guy that's like first sergeant stomping a bunch of Freighters, right? So I just don't like the way it's being run in that aspect, but I think it can be run better. Another thing, right now, supply spamming is the meta, as it is at M3 level, as it was at M3 level. People will they'll drop all 3 supplies immediately, and then they'll use their repair kit. Speaking of which, I need to talk about that. They'll use the repair kit, and you basically get 2 lives out of it against non-drugging players. Repair kit, I should probably touch on that. Repair kit is the old repair kit. As far as I know, it makes you immortal, essentially, as long as you use it, which at one point in time I thought was a good thing. I no longer think it is. I think that's broken, and I don't think that has any place in Tanki. It just kind of, I think the more you play Tanki, the more you get a feel for, okay, it's kind of like chess. In an organized team game with good players, it's this guy takes, right? Having people essentially invulnerable for 2, 3, 4 seconds completely throws that out of whack. It's less strategy and more arcadey, which I know is like, I know that's the point, but it feels worse almost. You feel like you're getting cheated out of kills when people pull that out of their back pocket, The initial 1000 HP, I think that's a good thing, and then the healing over time. I think that's good, but I think there should be more thought behind when you use your repair kits. Like, hey, I need to win this fight before I use my repair kit. Then I can take another fight and potentially turn the tide of the battle, right? Another thing I want to talk about, the price of getting crystals is terrible. It's not really an issue right now because of how cheap all of the initial equipment is, like the Firebirds, the Smokies, Wasp, Titan, Hunter, right? Not really an issue at the moment. It might become an issue later on. I know they're dropping crystal boxes. I think I got like a bugged server. They were giving me like 10 crystals per box, so I just sat in that one and I farmed for like an hour, and I ended up getting a lot of crystals. Maybe I'll put that gameplay up here if I have any. For alpha testing, I think you should maybe bump it up a little bit. I know rank is the main constraint at this low level, but the farther along this test we get, assuming there's not a reset, the crystal issues are going to be more evident, and that's going to lead to more staleness in gameplay. Like, people aren't going to be buying those newer turrets. They're going to be stuck on their M3 Smoky, M3 Firebird, Wasp, all that stuff. I think lastly, I just want to conclude my biggest issue with this test. It's a HUD related thing. I'm not talking about like the overlay with like the garage, the battles, stuff like that. I'm talking about the turret specific yellow bar that I am missing very much, especially somebody that's been running a lot of Firebird over the past day, as a lot of people have been. It's very difficult to balance like how much fuel is in your tank if you just don't know. You're mostly trying to conserve it for fights that you need a lot of it, and then, you know, point is, it's just really helpful. Same with Smoky. It's just nice to know when the next shot's coming. It's not really that big of a deal because, like, internally I kind of already know. But it's just that visual feedback as to know, like, the next shot's coming. That would be nice. I guess last thing, I know I said last thing, but the middle dot was also nice. Anyways, I'm going to keep playing the alpha test. I hope you guys see me. My username is Elitist if you want to add me. I might drop a Discord server at some point just so we can... I don't know, maybe we'll run some paddles, maybe we'll run some tests. I don't know, we'll see what happens. We'll see how big this video blows up, but I'm really enjoying it so far, believe it or not, despite the issues and the weird progression. And I hope as many people play this game when it comes out. Hope it's good enough that it gets that many people. But, alright, have a good one, guys.